Yep.
All right, so last video we worked on wrestling up from the double unders position. But we always have to be prepared for if our person has a really good base and the feet are engaged in the mat, or if they're actively trying to stand in our guard, okay? It's going to be really hard mechanically to wrestle up in this position with a lot of weight coming forward into you already. When they're disengaging, that makes it easier to come up, okay? So don't forget that concept. We're going to touch on it multiple times, is if they're going away, if we're able to shift their weight off well enough, and by that, so we're into here, when we shift it off well enough that we can bring our hip over our lower leg, we're going to be able to wrestle up here and win most of the time. But whenever I'm going for this, shift his weight off and his toes are already engaged in the mat, that makes it very difficult for me. I'm not mechanically strong from here. Or if he's just actively trying to stand in my guard. If I'm trying to wrestle up right now, it's not going to work, okay? So we need a different option. That option is going to be X guard. Okay? The way we're going to set up X guard is we're going to pick a side and we're going to kick that leg through first, okay? And after that, I'm going to switch to V grips. Preferably later on, we're doing both these moves at the same time, but for now, if you had to pick one to go, we're going to pick our leg. Because if I try to use V grips and switch here, as you see, my leg gets in my own way. All right? So what I mean by that is I'm kicking the leg through, switching to V grip. All right? I need this leg closer to me. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to lift Joel at a 45-degree angle off of my opposite shoulder. So if I'm going towards the left leg, I need to shift him towards the right here. Okay, and as you see, it brought this leg all the way up to my body, which is exactly what I want. So my current frames are my right leg, my right knee into his far leg, and I got two V grips. As you see, the far side V grip's not really accomplishing much here. So I'm going to double up on the near side. I'm not going to push into his side because Joel turned into me now, right? He's able to turn. We're going to load up on the back of the arm. Try to turn into me, makes it a little bit more difficult, okay? Now I need more frames here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my bottom knee up to my chest, which goes into his near side, okay? This outside leg is just going to come up here, okay? Now, if I need to create enough space to get my heel into his hip. So if I need more space, I can put this foot on the mat, shrimp away, okay? Now my leg is going to come over and I'm going to hook into his hip here, all right? Now we need to understand what your opponent is doing and we're going to try to do whatever we can to mitigate that. That concept goes in every single position. What Joel is trying to do from the get-go is he's trying to turn into me and flatten me out. Curl your heel back and flatten me out here, okay? For him to do any of this effectively, he needs to keep this leg bent. Even if I have all these frames in place, go ahead and do a hamstring curl back, just flatten me out, he's eventually gonna win this battle, okay? So what I need to do to mitigate that, every single time you enter into ashi garami, single leg X, you need to shelf this leg. Because once it's shelved, try to flatten me out, it's not happening. He's doing a hamstring stretch now, okay? He's not going to go through his own leg. It's mechanically not going to work, all right? So the way that we need to do that is we need to get this leg high enough so that I can reach under into my pocket, shot put, and shelf that leg on my shoulder, okay? But the way that we're going to need to do that is we're going to need to generate heel exposure like we're going for a leg lock, okay? If reaping is legal, we're bringing this leg across his hip line, and as you see, it raises this lower leg here. Instead of going for the leg lock, I recommend shelving this leg immediately, all right? Or let's say that reaping is illegal. So I'm into here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate my knees down to the mat and my stomach down to the mat, okay, without letting this leg go past the knee line. This heel stays in his hip. And as you see that lifted his leg off, and we'll reach into my pocket, and from here, I'm going to shot put, and it's going to shelf into my shoulder. He's continuing to try to turn into me, okay? If they turn their leg away, go ahead and turn your leg away. We can easily go for leg locks here. So he's going to try to flatten me out, all right? And then that's going to land this leg shelved onto my shoulder. So let's go back to the beginning. right? He's stepping up, or I try to shift him out and it's not working. Kick the leg through, V-grips, push off in a 45, load up on the back of the near side arm. Getting my frames into place until I can get my heel hooking into his hip. Now I need to generate heel exposure. Turning my hips down towards the mat, reaching towards my back pocket, and throwing my arm like a shot put over my head, all right? While I'm doing that, this heel is coming off, and we're calling our foot into the far side of the hip, into an X guard now, okay? Depending on where his far leg is, depends on what sweep I'm doing, okay? If his leg is off of the mat, what we're gonna do is we're gonna use both of our legs to extend him away and always keep his hands onto the mat. If his hands are onto the mat, we are wrestling up here, okay? If he postures up too much, that's more sweeping back here, okay? But this is just for the entry. We'll do sweeps next time. Okay, so come back down to butterfly guard. Do it one more time. This time I'm trying to wrestle up and it's not working. I'm gonna commit my back to the mat, shoot one leg through, V-grips, shift him off, doubling up on the back of the arm here, okay? Making my body mechanically sound. Bringing my knees to my chest, okay? You can kick this leg away if you like, or shift your hips out a little bit more to get to the angle for the ashi, garami, single leg X, whatever you like to call it, okay? Now I need to shelf this leg. If I can easily reach back into my pocket, get under his shoelaces, all I need to do here is shot put over my head, let this leg come off, and find it into the far hip. And now we're in X guard, okay? We'll go over controlling details and sweeps from here next time, okay? Thank you.